This is the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose, teaching influencers and bloggers how to become successful entrepreneurs. This is episode 126 of the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose. Today, we are going to be talking about how social media templates increase your productivity. This is an interview that I actually am having with Traci Gibson of the digital design market. And the reason that I felt it was important for her to come on as a guest is because if you've been watching my most recent IGTV video, you'll see that in that video, I talked about productivity because I'm noticing a large portion of my audience is starting to freak out about the fact that summer is just around the corner. Now, if you're not aware, I published IGTV videos that you cannot find anywhere else. It is not on the podcast. So make sure that you are checking my IGTV weekly for a new quick video that is being released there. Remember, those videos are under 10 minutes. So you can gain some more knowledge over there. It's at Jenny_Melrose, of course, is my Instagram account, but you can find that IGT video over there. Now, with that, because we've been talking about productivity so much, I thought it was really important that I provided you with a tool in which to increase it. So that's why today we're going to be talking about how social media templates actually can help you increase your productivity. And I'm so excited about the digital design market, which is what Traci is here to talk more and more about with you guys. Let's dive in. Hi, Traci. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. I'm so excited to get to talk to you more. And we're just going to kind of dive right in. But will you introduce yourself and your business to my audience?
Yes, I own the digital design market as well as a few Etsy shops that sell printables and cut files.
Okay, very good. Now, tell me a little bit more about your journey in the online space, because you and I met, was it 3 years already?
Yes, 3 years ago.
Goodness gracious. We met 3 years ago at Black Life University at a blogging conference. And at that time, when I first met you, you were creating, it was blankets, wasn't it?
It was t-shirt quilts.
Yes. Okay.
And I thought I could start to blog about that. I wanted something to add to my creative outlet. And once I went to the conference, I realized, oh, wow, there's really not a lot to talk about t-shirt quilts. Like, how can I really add a lot of information out there for that? And at the time, I really wasn't enjoying that space as much because I couldn't be as creative as I wanted to be.
Okay. All right. Very good. So from there, where did it end up shifting to?
I started a blog. In fact, I switched it and pivoted to 2 different blogs. So I started as a lifestyle blog, and I realized, wow, even that's too much to talk about. I think I really need to niche down more. And what I really liked doing was creating things and creating digital graphics. And then I switched to doing my paper printables as a blog. And I realized, wow, blogging is not easy. It's a lot of work.
Yes. Well, especially when you're not a huge fan of social media.
No. I'd rather have a product business, I realized, instead of a blog, because I'm not a writer. I'd rather just be doing something creative, and writing is not in my wheelhouse at all.
No, and that's good that you knew that. So you niched down to my paper printables as the blog, but realized that it was too much. So where did that end up going from there?
So I switched it to having a membership site full of printables for busy moms.
Yes.
And that worked for me because I could have my creative outlet of creating things, and more product-based business is what I was really pivoting towards.
Okay. Yes. And you did a great job. You grew that side of your list. And one of my favorite things about you is that you were, I feel like, one of the first people I knew that was using promoted pins. You dove right into Pinterest ads, and you were able to grow a list over there because of it. That was your primary source of growing your list, right?
Yes. Due to the fact that I hate social media, I'm barely on social media. And if I could find a way to get social media out of my life, I'd be so thrilled, because that's just another chore that I don't want to do.
Yes. But it was the smart platform to go to. That's where all of your people are. They're over there looking for printables, look, the busy moms looking for things cute for the kids or whatever else it might be. Okay. So then now we get to the digital design market, which is your, I would say, most recent venture. But it makes, I feel like, the most sense. What were some of the questions that you were kind of noticing that were coming up and made you kind of want to switch, turn and pivot this way?
Well, one reason I wanted to pivot was because I really was feeling like I wasn't connecting with the moms that I was making printables for. While they loved to grit a printable for whatever activity they were using, it was just a come into the library, grab a printable and dash off kind of thing. And that's great, but I wanted to make a difference in somebody's life. And I didn't really feel like I was doing that well, I mean, I am, but I'm not the way I wanted to. I wanted to make a connection with a business owner where I knew what I'm doing is really helping somebody out. And so people started to ask me, even when I'm making printables, can you make me this? Can you make me that? And I realized when I'm doing it more for the business owner, I'm feeling like I really made a difference in their life and made something that they really needed and enjoyed.
Yes. So when you're talking about a business owner, who are your ideal clients?
Well, anybody who needs graphics in their business, a coach, a DIYer, a product owner, or a blogger, anybody who needs to make graphics for their online business.
Yes. And there's so many of us. I mean, I feel like, well, that's primarily, of course, my entire audience that are podcast listeners, of course, because we are constantly needing to create the graphics. And for me, as one, that was always an area in which I struggled. I'm just not graphically inclined. I'm more the writing side of creative, I think, for me, or the talking side, as many of you know.
Yeah.
So that just entirely made so much sense to me when you brought it up to me. I remember when you first brought it up, it was one of those moments for me where I got the goosebumps. And I get those, I feel like, every once in a while when someone says to me, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. It's like that zone of genius goosebumps is what I like to think of them as.
Yeah.
So I love that. All right. So now you have the digital design market. We know who the audience is. Tell us a little bit more about what we can find here.
So I created the digital design market out of a need for myself. I was kind of struggling creating graphics quickly and having a system. As Morgan wouldn't say, I didn't have a system and I was just a hot mess. And I was just bouncing all over the place. And so I started creating Photoshop. I worked in Photoshop for myself. That's how I created my graphics. I started creating templates for myself to get things out the door quicker so I could just reuse what I know was working for my style of branding. And so customers, I started creating graphics for them and they kept asking me, well, can you make me a template too? And I said, oh, well, of course. And so if it's helping me and it's helping you, that's kind of how the digital design market started. But now it's a whole library of templates where you can use it for opt-ins, worksheets, checklists, webinar slides, call to action buttons. And there's whole collections in there that coordinate together to really help online entrepreneurs get their content out pretty quick.
Okay. So can you give me a specific example of let's say I wanted I'm a DIY home decor blogger. I just did a blog post on my favorite summer porch items, and I need graphics for social media. So I want Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook. How would I use the digital design market in order to have those?
So my templates come in Canva and Photoshop templates. They're not just Photoshop, it's Canva and Photoshop. And what you can do is hop in, grab the templates that you need. So you need a call to action button for people to download your opt-in, or you need to make a worksheet or a checklist for the things that, what did you say, go on your porch or front porch?
Okay.
Easy.
So really quick, so because you're using words that majority of my audience would know, but I just want to make sure. So the opt-in button is, in other words, when we're talking about an opt-in, a freebie that you would give in order for people to come on to get on your list. So in other words, if we did those summer porch ideas, it would be 10 items that you absolutely need to have. And you would be providing a template that we could pop those 10 items into to have that freebie so that we could then be able to give that to them in order to get their email.
Yes, you just open it up, change the colors and fonts. And if you want to change the images, some of them don't have images, some do. And just make it your own branding and add your text and download it as a JPEG PDF so you're ready to go.
Okay, so that's just the opt-in. And then the button that you were talking about would go in the middle of the content or the beginning of the content that's going to say, click here to get your freebie or whatever it is. So that's all right. So we've got the freebie and the opt-in button. What else?
All the social media buttons, the Pinterest, Insta Story, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere you want to post stuff, we've got templates for you.
Okay. I love it. So when I'm thinking of Pinterest, so the Pinterest template, because sometimes when you're different niches, I feel like what you want on your pins might be different than what someone else might want, like a different niche. So the templates that you have are obviously the size that were needed for Pinterest, right?
Yes.
And then I can drop, let's say I'm a food blogger, I can drop my recipe into there, and then there's text that I can kind of edit in order to create that pin.
Well, I've not seen Pinterest pins where they do the whole recipe. You mean just the name and things?
Just the photo, yes. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yes, just the photo. Yes, of course. Yeah, it's drag and drop. They're super easy to customize. Everything's 100% customizable. You can switch the whole thing up or just keep it as is. And there's a lot of Pinterest pins to choose from in a lot of different styles. So you can get through batching pretty quickly if you want to do that.
Okay. All right. So now, when I think about what it is that you've created, for me, it's that whole idea of being able to have everything on brand. I can do it all at once. I can batch it all, make it look perfect the way that I want it to do. And I have all of these different items for all the different platforms, and I'm able to just pop it out. Now, when I'm thinking about as far as if I paid a graphic designer in order to do all of that for me, I'd be paying probably, I would say, anywhere from $50 to $100 in my mind when I'm asking for, let's say, 10 images.
A lot.
Even easily more, even for that whole, for the opt-in. I know for the opt-in alone, I have paid $50 just to have one opt-in design that's a freebie sheet. So how does the digital design market work then?
Well, I do custom graphics as well, but I'm trying to make it easy for online entrepreneurs to go in, hop in, make everything they need pretty quick and easy where they can go in and grab it, change it really quick within a few minutes, and they have what they need to save them a whole lot of time and money.
Okay. So how does payment work with it? Am I paying per individual graphic, or is it different?
It's a membership. So you're paying, it's a quarterly membership or a yearly membership.
Okay. So there's photo sites that actually do that. There's something similar as far as pricing, where it's like quarterly, where you pay a certain amount quarterly, and then you're able to just kind of go in and get whatever you need. Is that the way it works?
Yes. And each month we add new graphics and new collections. And so it's going to be super easy and find something new each and every month.
Okay. I love that. So I think that when it comes to needing images, and if you're not graphically inclined, or even if you are, just to be able to have the ability to save time, keep everything on brand, it just makes so much sense. So how do they go about, we're going to make sure that we obviously link to the digital design market in the show notes. Where is the best place? You're also, where is the best place to kind of reach out to you to follow you?
You can go to thedigitalDesignMarket.com, and on there we have a couple big buttons. And if you want to try out a couple Canva and Photoshop templates, you can just grab them there.
Okay, so you actually have free options right now that they can test it out and check out.
Even with a mini course for Canva and Photoshop that go along with those templates. So if they don't know how to use them, we give you every step of the way on how to easily customize them.
Okay. Oh, I love it. All right. So then you can go and test it out. And then once you see that this is obviously going to save you so much time, because if you watched any of my recent trainings that I've done on the podcast or even on IGTV, all we're talking about, I feel like right now, is productivity, because of course everyone's freaking out that it's summer and the kids are going to be home. So we need all the time that we possibly can have. We've been talking a lot about the idea of hiring out even, but this is something where you don't need to pay someone a good amount of money to be able to do every single time. It's something that you're able to go in, access yourself, make it customized to your liking, and then have all the downloads that you possibly could need for a quarterly payment.
But some people even have their VAs hop in and do them for them. They're like, here you go. There it is. This is what I want.
Awesome. I love that. So, so smart. Traci, I'm so excited about this because I just think that this is going to save bloggers, influencers, like you said, online entrepreneurs in general, so much time and effort, and also money in the long run because I just think about opt-ins. I pay for opt-ins. I pay like $200 for a 4-page opt-in. So having the ability to be able to go in and do that so I'm going to ask you, what is the quarterly price right now?
$25 a month.
Okay. So did y'all hear that? I just want to pause. So $25 a month so if we're doing it quarterly, it's $75. Did I do that math right?
Right. Yes.
Okay, just making sure. So it's $75 and you're able to get as many as you need, access to it all. And like I just said, I paid $200 for an opt-in. I can't even imagine the idea of being able to go in and get whatever I need to be able to customize it and do it exactly that way for $75 for 3 months. That's awesome. So I'm so excited about this. And if they have any questions, you also, like you said, you have training videos that are in there so it can kind of walk them straight through it. And you give them the option that if they're a Canva person like me, because Photoshop is way over my head, you can use Canva. Or if you're a Photoshop, loving your photos, you're a food blogger, you want to be able to pop them right into that, that's what you're used to using, you can do that as well.
Yes, and we have a live Facebook group where we answer questions once a week. So if you have more questions, I can hop in and answer whatever it is you need.
Okay, awesome. I love it. It's just that extra access to be able to make sure that your needs are getting met and you're able to move your business forward. I love it, Traci. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. I so appreciate it. And I am excited for my readers to get into the digital design market for sure.
You're welcome.
As you all could hear from this interview, I just truly believe in what Traci has created in the digital design market. That we actually talked a little bit after the interview, and the $200 example that I gave, I paid $200 to a graphic designer to create an awesome opt-in. That was, I believe it was about 5 pages that I use on the jennymelrose.com website. But with Traci's The Digital Design Market, I can create multiple of those, plus Pinterest images, Instagram, whatever it is that I need. And she's making it quick and easy with the templates. So you guys, if graphic design is not one of your strengths, which I can openly just raise my hand as that is not one of my strengths, then this may be a great option for you, especially if you can't afford to pay a graphic designer $200 to do an opt-in for you. This is a solution that is quick and easy and is going to make your life so much easier with the productivity side of things because it's going to save you time in the end. All right, you guys, I appreciate you all so much for listening. I love seeing you tagging me on Instagram stories at Jenny_Melrose. Anytime you are listening to the podcast, you can send me a quick screenshot while you're listening. I love seeing which episodes that you are listening to. Another question that keeps coming up is why people can't get back further than 100 episodes on iTunes. And the reason is because iTunes only allows you to see 100 episodes. So there is over 100 episodes, obviously, on my podcast. If you can't get to them in your iTunes app, you can do it in another app like Stitcher, or you can head over to jennymelrose.com/podcast and you can go all the way back to the very beginning. All of the content is there. You can listen to it right from the website. So please feel free to do that. You guys, I also, if any of you have been watching my stories, you're seeing that I keep sending out happy mail to podcast listeners that keep leaving me reviews. They not only are, of course, warming my heart because I love the fact that my information is impacting you, but it also helps so much more for others to be able to find the podcast because it helps in order to show my podcast to people similar to yourselves that would be needing the information. So if you would leave me a review on iTunes, use your name as your Instagram handle because we are going through and checking to see if we can figure out who is leaving us the review. Then we're messaging you to send you some happy mail. So I would love to be able to send that to you. Just again, it's at Jenny_Melrose on Instagram. And if you leave it on iTunes, leave me your Instagram handle so I can follow up with you. All right, guys, until next time, I will see you all then.